Starting the day off, got to play a little bit of musical trucks here. Ambulance is going to stay home. I'm going to take the Chevy to this one. End up getting to put air in my airbags and scratch my driveway, unfortunately. Taking the Chevy because it's only an hour drive and there's no need to sleep there, so we'll leave in the morning. And yes, I did just clean this like 2 hours ago. Me being me, I'm always late to start packing into these things and get the gear bag loaded. I don't think I've ever once packed on time or made it on time or when I wanted to get there. I have a tendency of being late. I get distracted very easily and ended up playing video games today instead of packing, knowing I had to pack, but I guess it is what it is. One thing about the lifted truck, as nice as it is, I gotta block the sidewalk to get the bike in. They say the weather's gonna be 75 tomorrow, which is less than ideal. It's been pretty crappy weather, but 75 in an 80-mile dirt bike race, I'll be drinking that water. Here we are, next day. Getting ready in the pits. Gonna head over to the start area. First section of the race is a transfer section.
Thanks, man.
Not timed. Just get to cruise around a little bit, thankfully. Nice little warm up, but I had to cross this river and get my boots soaking wet before the race. So this is actually the second test, but they ended up dropping the first test from the times. I think a few people missed some of the turns. Kind of a theme on this race.
Perfect.
Take it pretty easy here in the beginning. It's a long race, so conserving energy and getting into a flow is pretty important. And almost immediately in one of the first turns, see I get a little squirrely. I was able to save it. It happened to me quite a few times throughout the race. I always find that the faster I push it in the beginning, the more mistakes I make. Long races like this, it's really more about pacing yourself and being consistent than pushing all out through the entirety of the race. Oh, almost lost it there again. Getting a little speed now, feeling a little better. Probably about 5 to 7 minutes through this test at this point. Cutting things up, trying to keep it interesting. About to get a little muddy and wet here. This rut, it's a lot deeper than it looks on camera. Heading up this hill climb. Overall, the track was in great condition. What was nice about coming out here and racing in this race is it's only about an hour and a half away from my house, so truthfully this is our local riding area that we like to come to. But yeah, we come out here a couple times a month, have a great time. I mean, you can come out here and ride Oh, look at that big mud hole. I think it gets pretty worse. Yeah, this right here. This was pretty chewed up. Come through here, there's this big rut in the middle. I'm gonna try to stay out of it. Yeah, I slide right back into it. Pretty common for a sea rider like myself. Start getting a little bit into the throttle on the fire roads. There'll be a lot faster folks out there, but for me, it was a ton of fun. I think what you'll see here is, yeah, that's the course marking for the left, and there's some guys waved me on here. I think if it wasn't for them, I probably would have blown through this turn. I'm sure a lot of people did. I don't know if those guys stayed there to tell people to get over or if they just had some mechanical problems in the right place, but shout out to those fine gentlemen. I'll tell you, at this point, I'm probably feeling quite a bit of arm pump already. It's a long race. I mean, 80 miles is... I think it was more like 70, but they advertised 80. You're pushing a race pace for, 20 minutes at a time. In most cases on these tests, it takes a lot out of you, especially for someone like me that barely goes to the gym, maybe twice a week, just to get his heart rate up. I probably should have stopped for that guy there, but he had the tools. I think he was fixing it flat. But yeah, the arm pump and tiredness level here is probably pretty decent. It gets better as you go on throughout the race. Your body starts to warm up. This is one of the trails that we frequent quite a bit. Most of the time we're running it in the opposite direction. So heading up it was a little different, but heading down it, in my opinion, is more fun. Where we start when we're riding on a normal day, we start on the other side of the mountain and work our way to kind of where we start this race. So it's a little backwards from what we're used to. Good views though. Weather was great. I think I said it was going to be about 75, but I don't think it ever got that hot. I'd be surprised if it was over 70 on this day. Stalled the bike. I did that a few times. I think here again, yep, just another course marking I didn't agree with. I'm sure you'll hear some expletives from me. Looking at it now.
Come on, dude. What marking is that?
Yeah, looking at it now, I could have easily seen that and saved myself some time. When you're racing, it's hard to look that far ahead and pay attention to those markings. Northern California, though, I mean, I'm from Southern California originally. The riding up here is so awesome. I've been here about 5 years. Been racing up here, I'd say the last 3. And it's totally different from what I'm used to. I'm used to open desert stuff.
here riding through the trees and on the trails. It's so much fun. Can't really beat it. If you're in or around the area, Sonoma County, Bay Area, definitely head up north, some of those local riding areas. You could ride here all day and not even hit all the trails. Growing up in the desert and riding out here in the woods now definitely makes you a better rider. In my opinion, it's a little bit more exciting. I blew a turn there, just kind of made my way over. I think this is the end of test 1, 2. Yeah, there we go. 23:35. So here's the gas stop. It's a remote gas stop. You'll see here some fine gentleman helps me out with my gas. I don't have a kickstand, so he grabs it for me.
Appreciate you, sir. Because, you know, when you're in mud and slippery situations, you're in lower gears.
Yeah.
And revving more, and, well, you just drink more fuel.
There was plenty of mud back there, huh?
Some people are telling me there's some pretty treacherous holes out there.
There's some big ones. Thank you.
Trade you.
Thank you very much for my friend. Awfully nice of him to help me out with my gas and throw a little wisdom my way, as I'll say. We're on the test 2 now. Trying to soak it in. Views are just great. It was so perfect. If you've never raced before, you ever thought about racing, there's some more mud here. If you've never raced before and you're thinking about it, go do it. It's a good way to get out there and meet some friends and just have a good day on the bike, really. Get humbled real quick. At least for me, that's how I felt. Grew up on a bike, did my first race, and was expecting to have a good result because I grew up on a bike, and it was quite the opposite. Just go and sign up for a race and see what happens. I've been on this 4-stroke, I think about 7 years now. Bike's easily got 190 hours on it. Probably a hell of a lot more if I'm being honest. I never did put an hour meter on it. Checked the valves last season and things were perfectly in spec, surprisingly. So shout out to Husqvarna for whatever it's worth. It's been a good bike. I think I'll be getting a new one here soon. Not that this one doesn't perform, but it's old. It's had its time, that's for sure. And in case you're wondering, this is Middle Creek / Penny Pines OHV area. Pretty popular spot if you live up this way. Man, I am just chugging the bike here.
say the one problem I do have with the 4-stroke is it's probably exactly what you're expecting. Most of the races we do, I would say this is on the flowier side of things. A lot of them have some harder technical things, and the 4-stroke just likes to overheat. Even with the radiator fan and the radiator cap, it still likes to boil over in the slow stuff. Oof. I'm beating myself up. One thing I am noticing watching this back now is I spent a little bit too much time on my butt during this. I think we're about to see the, yeah, here he is. Riding a OneWheel on the racetrack. I don't know if this guy was observing the race or taking photos or what he was doing, but we're pretty far out here, and if he's this far out on a OneWheel, he's either some sort of OneWheel enthusiast or he was very lost. This is a big mud hole here coming through the creek. That rut, I tried to look for another way around it, but ultimately it kind of seemed like the main line was just to go straight through that. Again, there's a bad course marking, in my opinion. Just barely made that one. Luckily I found it in time though. Or saw it in time. Here shortly we should be getting into some really tight single track. Tight as in there's bushes on either side of you, and there ain't no way you're avoiding it. I absolutely ate many of leaves this day. Almost lost it there, but hung on. Yeah, right up in here. Should start seeing that just really overgrown nasty stuff. Most of it I probably couldn't see 5 to 6 feet in front of me. That's what makes it fun, right?
God damn.
Yep. So they came out and cleared this. And I think unfortunately for me, I'm 6'3", right on the money. And these guys come out here and they clear these courses, but they don't think about us tall guys, and everything ends up right at head level. This point, I think the tracks intersect here. Yeah. Hang a left. And down through here is kind of more the same. Most of this it's a pretty steep downhill that is not easily picked up by the camera. But this area is a highlight for me. We've ridden through here a couple times recently, and in this section they actually did a really good job because there was logs and sticks covering this whole area just a few weeks prior to this. Thankfully, some folks got some poison oak or poison ivy, whichever one it is, and luckily for me, I was not one of them. This is all downhill. Little creek crossing. A little bit more wet, you know, just as soon as my boots start to dry up, just puts a little bit more water, just throw it on there. Should see the first guy I've seen all race actually up here. It was this test and this test only that I saw people. Yeah, I was starting to see a little bit of dust in front of me. I think I'm catching somebody. There he was. Our first glimpse of another rider. You see, I peep it out here. I don't curse at this guy. I almost hit him. And say thank you. Had to bleep a little bit of that out. Again, I didn't curse at him. I just almost ran into him. He stopped in an odd spot and kind of got a mouth like a sailor, I guess. Pretty big log right there. I think there's another one coming up too. Right after this left-hand turn. Yeah, if you're coming in too fast, it'll definitely ruin your day. Luckily for me, I'm not fast enough to have that problem. A little bit of traffic here. This guy lets me go. Try to pick up the pace a little bit because he was a B rider, so I know he's faster than me, and I expect him to kind of be on my rear end rather shortly. Again, I'm pretty sure I just hit my head on another big stick there. Yep, I remember that. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think I was sitting down on the face of that and stood up at an odd time and just kind of pushed my rear end out. Looked more like the front end that washed out. Again, lost some time. And I know I do that again here shortly. Yeah. More spirited language. It's hard. I locked up the rear brake there and cost myself seemed like 3 minutes. Cut most of it out. Once that happens and you're picking up your bike and you're getting frustrated, it really starts to set in, and you get tired a lot faster. I catch up to this guy, but I think he hears me behind him, and he just puts it into fifth gear, and he pulls away from me pretty quickly. Rider down there, he waved me on. I try to stop for folks, but at the end of the day, there's so many people behind me at this point. I started the race rather early. I guess I wasn't too concerned. You always got to make the right call. If you see somebody down, you definitely stop, but if they just drop their bike and they're getting back up, they wave you on, you're good to go. Back into a little bit more of those face level bushes here. This seemed to be the only test that was overgrown like this. Pretty hard to see in front of you. There's that rider. He's probably about 15 seconds ahead of me now. Towards the end of the recorded race, there was 2 or 3 more tests after this. So that's only 2 out of the 5 tests, I think. Test 1 didn't count. They took it out. I guess too many people missed a turn, and ultimately my SIM card filled up, so I couldn't film the rest. But those are kind of the highlights from test 1 and 2/3 and 4. Appreciate you guys watching. Next race is in a couple weeks. Gonna try to get out there and film that one as well, so stay tuned.